So in November of 2020, a 10-foot steel monolith was discovered on public land in a remote part of Utah. It had lain undiscovered for 4 years, apparently, but as soon as someone found it, it became a huge news story. There were copycat monoliths put up in various places around the world. It was a real sensation. Our song, Where It Came From, is not that story. It does not tell that story. Our song is a fiction inspired by that story. When Robin saw that chiseled stone, she thought she'd found an ancient monument. I've been working with Peter Lorre for 25 years, I think.
I first started working with Brian on the Disney Henson kids TV series Bear in the Big Blue House.
Me, I'm the shape of a bear, from the tips of my paws to the fuzz of my hair, not a circle.
In that show, we ended up writing together a fair amount, and then since we've graduated from children's TV, we've written different kinds of songs together.
Oh, it's dimly lit and grainy, this vision from afar, almost varicosely veiny. It's my gift to you, whoever you are.
Brian has always been someone for whom the left of center choice, both politically and musically, is what occurs to him first. And I am a more conventional songwriter, I would say. And the result is that when we work together on something, we both end up in a place that neither of us would have ended up on his own.
I thought Peter would be a good person to work with on this song because it was an ambitious song. It had something subtle to say and something complex to say, and I didn't want to take all that on by myself, but also because he brings another sensibility that I really like. His music, I always describe it as very seductive. When I first approached Peter about writing the song with me, I sent him just the idea.
He mentioned this idea for a song based on these monuments that had been found in the desert. This song was enormously ambitious, and I knew it was something I would never write on my own, and so I said, let's do it.
I drafted a lyric, and it was a very rough lyric, and I sent that to him.
My memory is Brian sent me a partial draft of the lyric, I think, and my immediate response was, how is this a song? This is never going to be a song. It's too complicated, it's too long, etc., etc., and Brian ignoring me, which I'm very glad he did.
At that point, we started working very closely together. He really helped me develop the ideas, what we wanted to say. So then Peter and I divvied up the musical tasks. I took the first pass at writing music for the verse. Although it's got sort of a genial, loping feel, like somebody hiking through the desert, I also wanted to give it an unsettling quality. So it is constantly changing keys. It never really establishes a tonal center. I thought that would add to sort of the air of mystery and otherworldliness.
And I had this idea for a chorus that would be simpler and that would blossom and soar and give you a nice contrast to the very wordy verses we had. So I drafted that.
And then, of course, once we'd finished drafting the music for the verse and chorus, Peter and I each put our fingers in each other's pie and sort of, oh, can we change this chord? Can we change this melody? Can we simplify this? Can we make this chord weirder, as we like to do?
I think Brian drafted a partial bridge. I then completed the bridge and figured out how we were going to transition back to the final verse. I will say that that is the thing I'm proudest of in my contribution to the song.
In the bridge, I remember it was at Peter's insistence that the word God, the phrase is, Jill saw God. God would be on a long, high, held note. A G in this instance, which of course I had to sing, but it ended up being a very good idea musically. Another thing I especially liked about the composition of the song, at the end of the song, there's a double chorus, 2 choruses in a row. And the second of those is a half step down. But the usual thing in pop songs is to modulate up to sort of heighten the excitement.
I need you today, oh Mandy, you came and you gave
we decided to bring it down a half step. It's something I'd done before in a song called Get Wise.
Get wise, better get wise, get wise, get wise, get wise, better get wise, get wise, get wise.
And what I liked about it is it makes you feel like the rug has been pulled out from under you in a very subtle way. And I just wanted to keep the idea of this universe kind of expanding while you're, still trying to puzzle out where it came from.
Who knows where it comes from? This spark we can't hold on to or let go.
Then it came time to replace the MIDI tracks with live, and of course, Jim Kimo West did an incredible job on all the guitars.
Jim Kimo West, who just won a Grammy last year for his album More Guitar Stories, is a brilliant slack key guitarist, a world music multi-instrumentalist, and also happens to be Weird Al Yankovic's long-standing guitar player.
Brian called me one day and said he had a new song that he thought maybe I could help him arrange and play some guitars on. So he sent this raw demo over. It was very rough, but I immediately could hear some parts, and I had ideas right away. I knew it wasn't going to be easy because Brian's songs are never easy. They're not 1, 4, 5 tunes. There was a feeling in the lyrics of discovery, of wonder, and I thought, well, my acoustic guitar, open tuning acoustic guitar, I could play in a way that would give it a sort of that magic sound, sort of with a lot of legato harp type sort of playing, and also the acousticness of the guitar, it gives it that nice folky kind of real human feel, making the acoustic guitar the main musical voice. It was a challenge to get the entire song arranged for acoustic guitar with all the unusual chord changes and time changes, but once I had that done, then the fun part was to come in with the other colors. One of the other colors I used towards the end of the song was a soprano guitar, which has almost like a harpsichord sound. It's tuned almost an octave higher than a normal guitar. So I used that for some counterpoint and some harmony. Also, I used a baritone guitar towards the end of the song. It's sort of something you would hear sometimes on country records, more of a twangy kind of a sound. And then also, I think I used some EBO, which is sort of a magnetic sustainer, to create these long legato notes in one section, the bridge section of the song. I really loved being involved with it, and I think it came out really, really well.
I think originally there was not going to be a drum set in this song, but I felt like I wanted there to be an epic quality to the chorus and the bridge that we were not going to be able to get without that. So we thought of calling John Feinberg, who is an amazing drummer and musician, and who has a particular expertise in finding just the right thing for really unusual musical tasks.
John is a long-standing collaborator of mine, a very sensitive to the song drummer.
Who builds the fire? Who feels the glow? Who will ever know?
And then we added some violin lines played by the wonderful Sarah Parkins of the Parkins sisters. She layered many, many parts to form a large string section. And then after I'd sung the lead vocal, I brought in Tulasi Rain, wonderful vocalist, on the last chorus, just sort of elevate that.
How did it speak through her? She only knew she had to.
Well, the song tells a story. It sets up sort of a mystery. Where did it come from? And then it introduces several characters, and they all sort of have a different idea of where it comes from. The last verse, we kind of tell you where it comes from. It takes you on a journey there. It's not just the story, but it gets into some musings on more profound things, like what is the purpose of art? Where does art come from? And hopefully I haven't spoiled it all for you.